I'll be watching Commencement from Branchburg, New Jersey.
Shout out from Mumbai, India.
I am currently in Taiwan.
I'm celebrating from New Hampstead, New York.
Piscataway, New Jersey.
New Brunswick, New Jersey.
Middletown, New Jersey.
Atlantic Highlands, New Jersey.
Parsippany, New Jersey.
Edison, New Jersey.
Old Bridge, Woodbridge Township.
Bellevue.
Williamstown, Jersey City.
Cherry Hill, New Jersey.
Cresskill, New Jersey.
Jackson, New Jersey.
South River, New Jersey.
Woo! Bangkok, Thailand.
Nigeria.
Mexico City.
Mexico.
Originally from Indonesia.
From China.
Poughkeepsie, New York.
I was born in the Philippines, but now I live in good old Jersey City.
Long Island, New York.
Venezuela.
Richmond, Virginia.
I'm from Russia.
Oakville, Ontario, Canada.
South Carolina.
Mumbai, India.
Long Island, New York.
Sicklerville, New Jersey.
Lima, Peru.
Shillington, Pennsylvania.
South Amboy, New Jersey.
Congratulations, Rutgers 2020 from Ocean City, New Jersey.
Rutgers, New Brunswick, it's Cory Booker, United States Senator from our great state of New Jersey. And I want to say thank you to the whole Scarlet Knight community, everyone who played a role in making this day possible. And to the class of 2020, I just want to say I thank you, I celebrate you, your grit and your guts, your struggle and your sacrifice, all that you did to make yourselves a graduate of this world-class university. I want to thank you, and especially thank you for making us even more so Jersey strong. So class of 2020, this is not the graduation experience that you wanted or you invited. And I've learned in my life that in many ways you can't control circumstances. You can't control what happens to you, but you can control your response. There's a great author named Viktor Frankl who wrote a book about surviving the Holocaust. And he said that the last of the great human freedoms is to choose your attitude in any given set of circumstances. And he says there's always a choice. Every day, every hour, he says you're offered a decision, which is to show up. To me, that is a challenge. Life is not about a destination. It's where you are every day, what you're bringing, what spirit do you choose to bring into the world. Class of 2020, you are going to go on and do amazing things, achieve great positions, titles in your life, but those will never define who you are. You do daily. Don't underestimate your power. Use it every day to make a difference in this world that so needs you. Thank you, class of 2020, and God bless you.
My first day at Rutgers, I was so scared but so excited, and I got to meet all of my roommates on move-in day, and now they're my best friends for life.
My favorite Rutgers memory will have to be new student orientation.
Definitely the fat sandwich challenge. I made it up to 3.
The basketball season this year, we were swagging.
A student left a lobster in a tree from King Neptune night, and it became the religion of our holy Lord Snip.
My favorite memory was joining my sorority Delta Gamma.
Playing intramural sports with friends. Yeah.
Being a part of the Seeing Eye Puppy Raising Club.
Rutgers Dance Marathon.
Joining the Rutgers Swing Dance Club.
Running Winter Wishes with Rupa.
Getting to see Young the Giant perform at Beats on the Banks.
My favorite memory was when I met my fiance on campus.
Taking pictures near the Passion Puddle in every season with my friends.
And I got to introduce my kids to college football.
My favorite memory was when, even though I was ill and in the hospital, my classmates and my professors reached out to me and gave me a cheerful, warm, get well.
Being able to go to midnight breakfast at every single dining hall with my friends.
Me and my friends studying all night before midterms and finals.
Just finding my people at Rutgers was definitely my favorite memory.
Honestly, all of my favorite memories really have revolved around me just spending time with my friends.
Hello, Scarlet Knights, and congratulations to the entire class of 2020. Your years of late night studying and countless exams have finally come to fruition, and you should all be very proud of yourselves. The COVID-19 pandemic has been hard, and I know this isn't the graduation you expected, but I commend each of you for your sacrifices and willingness to adapt over these past few months. Whether you become teachers or doctors, actors or lawyers, business people or senators, never forget your time at Rutgers and never forget the great state of New Jersey. Again, congratulations, and may you all make a difference in our state, in our nation, and across the world.
I just wanted to say it's always been a dream of mine to be a student at Rutgers University, and I can't believe it. Here we are, now we're graduating.
My proudest achievement was being able to finish my master's degree a semester early, and now I am the first person in my family to receive a master's degree.
My biggest achievement is graduating summa cum laude with a double major.
Graduating under the Rutgers Honors Program.
Making the Dean's List every semester in the business school.
Winning the Class of 1876 prize for the best thesis in the political science department.
Landing a store manager internship for Kohl's.
Landing my research fellowship down at Washington, D.C. at the NIH.
Writing my 48-page thesis all in Spanish for the Department of Spanish and Portuguese.
Getting into grad school due to my amazing Rutgers education.
Getting hired for a management position before I even finished completing my practicum.
Discovering my passion in fitness, working with athletes in the strength and conditioning department.
Working with WRSU as the news director and getting to host my own music show there.
Coming all the way from India to do my master's here in the United States of America.
Getting to perform with 80 of the best guys ever overseas during the Rutgers Glee Club's European tour.
My biggest achievement was being a part of the only all-male South Asian a cappella group on campus.
My biggest achievement is just completing the course in its entirety. With life, family, work, it was sometimes a struggle.
Completing my Doctor of Nursing practice while giving birth to and raising my son and being a wife.
Actually going to school full-time as a single mom of 3 at 34.
I'm a second career chaser, and going back to school was a huge leap of faith.
I was able to successfully work my full-time and obtain a 3.8 GPA for last semester.
Obtaining a bachelor's degree after being told that it was almost impossible to do well in school after suffering from a traumatic brain injury.
I'm so happy. I'm living one of my dreams right now.
Congratulations to the class of 2020. I'm so grateful to be here today with everyone.
No one completes a journey like this on their own. There's a lot of people that help them along the way.
Thank you so much. This one's for you.
My mom and my dad were the ones who encouraged me to apply and to enroll into the business program.
Thank you to my husband and my mom for being by my side this entire journey.
I would like to give a shout out to my sister, who's my best friend, and also been there for me since day one.
My grandparents, without them, I would be lost and definitely not in college, I could tell you that.
And my amazing fiance, who was there through all my long nights of studying.
I want to give a shout out to my brother and sister, Dwayne and Tay. I couldn't have done it without you. I thank God for you every day.
My cute sister, Charmaine, and my other cute sister, Christina.
To my parents and sister who love me no matter what, even when I make crazy decisions.
I want to give a shout out to Sabrina, my child, who's the joy of my life.
Shout out to my children. They are the loves of my life. I did this for them.
I would like to thank my mom and my dad for always encouraging me and bringing me food.
Mom and Dad for being my investors during this college career. Woo!
Thank you, Mom and Dad. I owe this to both of you.
My mom, my dad.
I love you, Mom and Dad.
All the Rutgers family and beyond who've helped me along this journey.
To my friends and professors that I met at Rutgers for giving me an incredible 4 years.
Shout out to the Rutgers Swim and Dive team. They're my girls, they're my everything.
My coaches, my professors, my advisors.
To my teammates and my coaches on the women's basketball team.
And a special shout out to Rutgers Women's Rowing for all the memories over my years at Rutgers.
Shout out to the Audacious program for providing me with the resources and the support that a minority student like myself needed in order to thrive in undergrad and move on to the next phase of my life, which is med school.
And my friends from the Graduate School of Education, from the special ed and elementary cohort.
Just want to give a huge shout out to Christopher, D'Andrea, and everybody else in the exercise science department. You guys rock.
I want to shout out Bruce Reynolds. Thanks for being a great professor and always making me strive to be a better student.
I just want to thank everybody in the CHAPS program for helping me out so much.
Mason Gross for giving me a high quality education. I will forever be grateful.
Shout out to the Seeing Eye Puppy Raising Club for giving me everything, both 2- and 4-legged friends.
All of my friends from the Rutgers Swing Dance Club and the New Brunswick Basement Scene.
The College Avenue of Players for taking me in with open arms and being my family away from home.
The teachers who are always just so welcoming and It really was refreshing to feel heard and to feel appreciated.
Everyone at Rutgers who I've had the opportunity to engage with and collaborate with, you all have made a difference in changing the way I am as a student, as a leader, and as a person.
Class of 2020. Oh.
Congrats, class of 2020.
Woo! Congratulations, class of 2020. Woo!
I'm more than grateful to be a Scarlet Knight with everyone. Congrats, class of 2020.
We finally did it.
Hello, Rutgers University class of 2020, and congratulations. You have worked and studied hard to cross the finish line during an incredibly difficult and unprecedented time in our history. The finish line may look a little different than usual, but make no mistake, what you have accomplished in crossing it is a great achievement worthy of celebration. I know that today's ceremony does not look how you or your loved ones imagined it would. For starters, your family and friends aren't there to cheer you on in the stadium, but they and all New Jerseyans could not be prouder of you. As we are all learning, no matter how carefully we plan, life brings a lot of surprises. Being able to respond to an unexpected obstacle with stamina and perseverance, as you all have done this semester, shows incredible maturity and reflects the values and character modeled by your families and communities of support. And they mirror your Rutgers values. As graduates of Rutgers University, you are now part of a legacy of excellence that stretches back 254 years before the founding of our state and nation. Across the years, Scarlet Knights have won Nobel Prizes and Pulitzer Prizes. They have changed the faces of law and medicine, politics and education, business and entertainment. You now take up their mantle and will help point our direction for the future. Today is a day of limitless potential, of opportunity and optimism. As you receive your degrees and embark on the next chapter of your journey, I want to offer all of you my sincere congratulations and best wishes for the success you so deserve. All of New Jersey is waiting to see what you will do next. God bless you all. Congratulations.
From far and near we came to Rutgers, and resolved to learn all that we can. And so we settled down in that noisy college town on the banks of the old Raritan. On the banks of the old Raritan, my friends, where old Rutgers evermore shall stand. For has she not stood since the time of the flood on the banks of the old Raritan? Then sing aloud to alma mater, and keep the scarlet in the van. For with her motto high, Rutgers' name shall never die on the banks of the old Raritan.
This is not how I envisioned it. I always thought I'd be putting on my regalia, surrounded by my family and my friends. But here I am, and here we are. I remember that week before spring break. I went to Stuff's with one of my friends, and one of them jokingly said, "Hey, what if this was the last night of our senior year?" I laughed at the idea. But the next day, we all packed our bags, and we left our dorms. I had left most of my stuff behind, because I thought we'd be coming back in April. I never thought I'd already lived my last night of senior year. As I walk my last steps as a Rutgers student, I can't help but think about the first ones. Coming to Rutgers was my first real step into adulthood. I left the bubble of my home and my hometown, and I stepped into this new community where for the first time, I felt like my narrative was a blank slate.
Please stand behind the white line while the bus is in motion.
I didn't know what would fill it, but I was excited to get started and see. I think I'm gonna miss, above all, the friends I made here. They made this school a family, a home away from home. More than that, my friends inspired me to become a better person. Every time I struggled to finish an assignment, every time I doubted myself to get through, they pushed me to reach my full potential. It's because of them that I graduate today knowing I made the most of my opportunities here. And it hurts that we can't all see each other graduate today. I wish my family could see me walk on that stage and get my degree. Because they know the journey to this moment was actually a lot longer than just my years at Rutgers. My parents immigrated to this country to provide a better life for their kids, and for them, education was a major component of that better life. They held my hand as we dove nose first into an education system they didn't understand or experience, all while adjusting to a new country and providing for our family. This day is the culmination of all of those nights they stayed up to help me with my homework, all of those summer drives to the library so I was forced to read more, all that research we did on the college admissions process. This degree is as much theirs as it is mine. It was at this school that I grew in more ways than I could have ever imagined. I learned what true friendship was, in all of its wonders and hardships. I learned what it was like to fail, how it could make you feel like you're drowning, and how empowering it can feel when you find your way to air again. I learned what it meant to expand your horizons and learn from people who are different from you. And it was all those lessons together that taught me that I am more powerful, more resilient, and more capable than I ever thought I was. So this is it. This is my love letter to you, Rutgers. For all the great moments that I'll cherish forever, but also for the hard moments that made me who I am. This isn't the goodbye I was hoping for, but it's because of these moments that I know I'll be okay.
It's been a long, dark night, and I've been waiting for the morning. It's been a long
2020. No student before you has ever carried this mace. Today, I ask that you bear it in my stead before the President. Know that Rutgers is proud of you. Kimberly M. Pascal, Secretary of the University.
The world is different today than when we first started here. And some of us still may be asking, what if? What if the world as we knew it doesn't return? If anything, with what we've learned and discovered about ourselves in our journey here, maybe we should ask, what if this is the opportunity we have all been waiting for to change the world?
Parents, families and friends, distinguished faculty, members of the staff, members of the boards, Governor Murphy, President Sweeney, Speaker Coughlin, all four mayors, other elected officials, and most important of all, students. I'm Mark Engelson, chair of the Rutgers Board of Governors. 48 years ago, I was one of you. I'm honored to welcome you all to the Rutgers 2020 commencement. We are here to celebrate you, our degree conferees, as you epitomize the excellence and opportunity that constitute this great university. This is not the commencement format that any of us foresaw. You, our graduates, couldn't have expected that you would spend your last semester in a world of social distancing and online learning, especially not in President Barczy's final term, when we should recognize in a special way his transformative leadership over these past 8 years. Leadership that in no small part paved the way to where Rutgers is today and that meaningfully contributed to where you are today. The creation of RBHS and of the Honors College, our membership in the Big Ten Academic Consortium and in the Big Ten Athletic Conference, recruitment of preeminent faculty, and a building plan that forever has transformed the face of our campuses, among many other things. Nothing, not even the most horrific pandemic in our history and the associated economic dislocation, will change the way that historians will view President Barczy's tenure. Bob, we admire you and we thank you. And who better to describe the most salient features of the transformation than Chancellors Malloy and Strom and EVP COO Calcato.
A clockmaker is a master craftsman who designs and builds clocks by hand. Clocks that will outlast him for generations.
To something like this, which is the I can't say it any other way. That's the blueprint. That's what you work from.
Robert Barchi has been crafting precision timepieces from design to construction in his own workshop for years. With a clockmaker's attention to planning and detail, President Barchi has helped lead Rutgers University into one of the most exciting periods of change and growth in its history.
Bob's clockmaking is a wonderful microcosm of his general personality. He has an ability both to see the big picture and to see little details.
When we look at that craftsmanship, just the way that every piece of what he does is meticulous and fits together, it tells you that the things that he is able to accomplish when he puts his mind to it, they have no bounds.
His interests actually in clockmaking and precision engineering are things that we see when he evaluates new building opportunities, and we trust the fact that he has this attention to detail.
Actually, I see a lot of parallels between precision mechanical clocks and the complicated interactions that make up a university. These complicated mechanisms require every piece of them, and a university requires everybody who's there working together.
I was happy being the dean of the Ernest Mario School of Pharmacy at Rutgers. Got a call that this integration with the former University of Medicine and Dentistry was going to go through. When we all met Bob, clearly he was a physician scientist who had the academic background to really help us in what was going to be a very serious process over the next several years.
The opportunity to do what we could do here with this integration was unique. I didn't see anything like that anywhere else in the country, and it just was too good of an opportunity to pass up to try to get that to happen.
Having a president who really understood how healthcare is similar as a part of a university, but how healthcare it needs to be different, really was critical in bringing the two sides together.
So this was the largest integration of higher education entities in the history of the U.S. He emphasized that this was not a merger or an acquisition, that this was an integration. It reinforced the way that we were thinking about this being a win-win for both universities.
We have really dramatically changed the landscape of both healthcare education in New Jersey, but more importantly, in many ways, healthcare in New Jersey. And in the process, we are building one of the best academic medical centers in the country. None of that would have been possible without Bob's support.
He didn't stop there, and he could have. But he decided that's not where I'm going to stop. He launches a strategic plan.
The first thing that we actually needed to do was to get a strategic plan and a strategic vision so that we could decide what it is we wanted to do.
So it was critically important to him that we include as many stakeholders as we could possibly marshal. And that was everybody. That was students, that was faculty, that was staff, that was community members. The goals envisioned in the strategic plan required the design and implementation of a corresponding physical master plan, which now has become the blueprint for a new era at Rutgers. We've been implementing the 2030, the physical master plan, for the last 5 years. So it is a success, and we're able to implement it because we had buy-in from the whole community, because it became part of Rutgers. It became part of the culture as we move forward.
Bob's going to be remembered for a number of incredibly important things. He's going to be remembered as one of the big builders. He's going to be remembered for the integration of the healthcare enterprise into the university. He's going to be remembered for building a business-like infrastructure and having the organization operate much more like a business. But most of all, he's going to be remembered for launching Rutgers into a next phase of greatness.
President Barchi will be known as the transformational president for this university. It's the whole infrastructure that he's helped to create, this whole outline of what Rutgers will look like in the next 10, 20, 50 years. For me, as an alumnus of Rutgers, that's really been very important. We'll last another 250 years. We'll be ringing the bell on the banks of the old Raritan for a long time to come.
History will smile well down on Bob Barchi. He will be noted as probably the most transformative president we have ever had, and I believe that. He was, without a doubt, the right man at the right time.
Members of the class of 2020, along with your remarkable individual achievements, please carry with you as a mark of pride the transformative success of Rutgers. You are being graduated from one of the world's great research universities. Rutgers has prepared you for whatever the future may bring. Go forth from here. Make your marks on the world. Do well, make us proud. And while you're doing well, also do good. I could ask no more. You should do no less. Dr. Robert L. Barchi, 20th President of Rutgers University, over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Angleson, for those kind and generous words. The last 8 years as Rutgers president have been wonderful times for me, and I treasure every single moment. Well, maybe not every single moment, but they are memories that I will take with me and hold close to my heart as I return to the faculty in the coming months. But among those memories, perhaps the best are these days, commencement. So let me turn to the work at hand and say hello to everyone joining us today from your homes in New Jersey, in other states, and from across the nation and around the country. To those of you who taught or have mentored or have been friends with our graduates, to those of you who have been alongside them these past few months, these past few years, or all their lives, I say thank you on behalf of Rutgers and our graduates. And to the members of the Rutgers class of 2020, congratulations. I wish so much that I could salute all of you, our graduating students, in person, with your families and friends cheering for you. But I am grateful for the opportunity to tell you today how proud I am of all of you. And I know your families and our faculty feel the same way. This is an awesome moment for all of you, nearly 19,000 strong. Each of you has earned a degree from Rutgers, and that is worth cheering about. What's more certain, though, is that you can be sure that you have done this in spite of challenges that no one in recent memory has seen before. So who are you, the class of 2020? You are artists and surgeons and engineers. You're chemists and entrepreneurs and writers. You are psychologists and teachers and attorneys. You are mathematicians and criminologists and social workers. You are historians and librarians and nurses. You are oceanographers and neuroscientists and labor leaders. And this list only scratches the surface of the fields that you have chosen and the gifts you will now bring to New Jersey and to the world. Imagine all the talent in this group of graduates, enough talent to change the world. Of course, the world has already changed dramatically just in the past few months. And anyone who stands up here and tells you what it will be like a year from now is only guessing. Today, we're scrambling to develop tests and treatments and vaccines against a deadly virus. Tomorrow, you will be chasing a solution to destructive hurricanes, crushing poverty, debilitating childhood obesity, and so many more urgent global challenges. The way forward is far from clear, but one thing is absolutely clear. The world needs you. So why am I so confident about your future success? Let me tell you a few of the reasons. During your time at Rutgers, many of you have had to balance your studies with 1 or 2 jobs and family responsibilities. Some of you have had the burden of being undocumented and unsure of your future, or facing racial or ethnic discrimination, or enduring sexual assault, or losing a loved one unexpectedly. Each of you knows what it is like to work hard for what you achieve. Your Rutgers experience demanded that of you. Now, it's been said that the strongest steel is forged in the hottest furnaces. I believe that personal challenges such as these are the furnaces that have forged in you a resiliency that is a tremendous advantage in these times of uncertainty. During your time at Rutgers, you have cultivated a set of values drawn in part from your families, in part from your faculty, and in part, perhaps the largest part, from each other. Values that include integrity and curiosity, tolerance and compassion, ethical behavior. But each of you has also developed your own unique worldview, reflecting the individual paths that led you to this day today. It's a combination of the shared values and the personal worldview that will enable each of you to make your own unique mark on the world. It's the secret sauce in the mix. During your Rutgers years, you have also developed a clear sense of responsibility and civic purpose to work for a better world, for a safer and more inclusive community, for social and economic justice, for a more sustainable environment, and for a more just society. In addition to your formal Rutgers education, each of these factors will contribute heavily to your success. And all of these factors taken together explain our confidence in you and underscore why we need you out there today, putting your ideas to work for the common good, accomplishing the things that we, the generation before you, did not get done. Now, as Rutgers graduates, it falls to you to become fully engaged members of our civil society, to accept as your own responsibility the very issues that you've been debating on campus as students, to become the agent of the very change that you seek. As you join the ranks of Rutgers alumni, I challenge each of you to be a doer, not a sayer, to walk the walk, not just talk the talk. Don't just go out and make a fortune, make a difference. Don't just change your status, change lives. Yeah, that's a tall order. But here's the good news. In the midst of so many challenges and the need for so much change in this world, there has never been a Rutgers class better prepared to impact society, to shape policy, to make a difference than you. Today, as you depart Rutgers with a world of possibilities in front of you, and I leave with much of my career behind me, I could not be prouder than to walk beside you and consider myself a part of this Rutgers graduating class, the amazing class of 2020. I wish you all a hearty congratulations and Godspeed.
Sandy J. Stewart, Honorary Doctorate of Humane Letters. Devoting countless hours of his time, talent, and expertise to Rutgers University, Sandy J. Stewart has chaired both the Board of Governors and the Board of Trustees, fiercely defending the university's autonomy and upholding the tenets of an accessible and affordable Rutgers degree. One of the first in the world to greatly advance the technology of biochemical profiling, resulting in a new field of science called metabolomics, Sandy Stewart credits his education at Rutgers University Camden for where he is today. A highly respected and published scientist, Stewart holds numerous patents, has worked for the American Red Cross and with the United Nations, and has founded or co-founded several successful biotechnology companies. Stating that his Rutgers education prepared him to compete with the best scientists in the world, Sandy J. Stewart exemplifies not only the university's core values, but is a true example of the extraordinary places a Rutgers education can take you. Sandy J. Stewart, Honorary Doctorate of Humane Letters.
And now I'm pleased to introduce the presenter of the 2020 University Commencement Address. An award-winning broadcast journalist, an anchor of the NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt and Dateline NBC, Lester Holt has been bringing viewers breaking news of events across the globe through fair and in-depth reporting. When disaster strikes, he is there to provide stories of the people affected. Lester Holt has shone a spotlight on America's criminal justice system, brought attention to the connections between childhood asthma and poverty, and moderated presidential debates. Most recently, he has been covering the global COVID-19 pandemic, stating that it is now the biggest story he has ever covered, a story that he too is part of as he delivers the news from his home studio. Rutgers is proud to be awarding him an honorary doctorate of humane letters. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Lester Holt will now address the class of 2020.
President Barchi, thank you for the honorary degree. I'm proud to be forever now connected to this great institution. As a resident of the metropolitan area, I consider Rutgers a prestigious neighbor, and I take immense pride to be able to celebrate this important occasion with all of you. And I certainly admire the lengths you have gone to adapt and make sure this celebration went forward, albeit in this virtual form. To the faculty and families of the class of 2020, I say jobs well done. Moms, dads, caregivers, though I can't see your faces, I have been where you are twice celebrating this rite of passage for my own children. I know and I get that mix of giddiness you're feeling along with the nervousness of thinking, what now? And wondering, will they still be our little kids? I can tell you with fair certainty they will be. You'll continue to play important roles in their lives, even as they chart their own course in life. Your wisdom and love and guidance don't expire on this day. In fact, in many ways, they are renewed. To the class of 2020, congratulations, both for this academic milestone and for showing all of us that all that social networking you guys have been doing, obsessed with, it pays off in the end. I mean, where would we be right now without Zoom? This, of course, isn't how I envisioned this moment when I first accepted the invitation to speak many months ago. I'm guessing you feel the same. Of course, every night on the news, I speak to an audience that I can't really see. I'm told they're there. But the difference between that and this is when I'm on the news, I don't expect people to interrupt my remarks with applause. Could be happening, but I don't expect it. But a speech, on the other hand, normally allows for at least polite applause, occasionally sustained enough to clear your throat or take a sip of water. So if you see me pause in these remarks, just assume that in my head, I'm hearing clapping from somewhere, from you. As I began writing this speech a few weeks ago, I began to think that, I'd rather be hearing you speak, the graduates, not listening to myself. For it is you, the graduates, who I think have a much better story to tell right now. I certainly have a history and access, a set of experiences worth sharing, but nothing like you guys. I mean, come on, you're graduating in the middle of a global pandemic. The full story of our lifetimes, this pandemic and its ripple effect of calamities, won't be told by me or my generation. While we are all living it right now, it's you who will someday be best positioned to tell its complete story and history, how you lived through it, how it ended, and what society did or did not learn from it. It is one or perhaps many of you who will stand as a featured commencement speaker 30, 40 years from now, hopefully before a live audience, to tell the story of the pandemic of 2020 and its takeaways, how it took people you loved, how it took from you the time-honored touchstones of college life, no less than your cherished senior year, how it tossed you into a shattered job market, and how it challenged an implied belief that, frankly, many of us grew up with, that we as Americans were somehow immune from the worst of life's horrors, that they happened over there, not here, to them, not us. Up until now, you were destined to be the generation launched into a booming economy filled with opportunity and promise. Today, you stand as a generation that, as it appears right now, will be defined by adversity in much the same way generations were defined by the Great Depression and World War II. Though frankly, I'm not sure if there is truly a fitting comparison. You were born into a world of instant gratification, a world in which, 2.5 months ago, virtually everything was a click or a swipe away. Now you celebrate scoring toilet paper or a canister of Lysol wipes on Amazon. Today, we are all looking at this moment in time from the inside, but only when it's told inside out will we have a true understanding of what we lost, how we found ourselves so vulnerable, so unprepared, and how we recovered. It's going to be an amazing story, but as a journalist, I have to ask the broader questions too. Will we find our way back to a place where realities and things like facts, no matter how inconvenient, are dealt with as vital and universally accepted challenges, not ridiculed as the fantasy of Chicken Little? What will those members of the class of 2020 tell us in the commencement speeches of 2040, 2050, about how American values changed in the age of coronavirus. Did we become less partisan? Did we pay greater attention to scientists and science? Oh, and please make sure you put in that part about global warming. It will be great to hear how that whole thing worked out. But for this moment, it is left to journalists to tell the story in real time, not only the obvious public health and economic impacts, but how it is laid bare who we are and what we value. I'm going to admit to you, this has been a hard story to maintain the kind of objectivity I usually bring to the table. And that is because there's no stepping back from this story. There's no flurry of live reports and interviews from the scene and then rushing back to the airport and flying back to New York and fleeing the war zone or disaster zone. We're all living this, no matter where we go or who we are. My health, my family, your health, your family are all linked. Our very lives can now be an exercise in altruism. I anchor the news from my home to protect me and to protect those who might otherwise come in contact with me in the workplace. For the same reasons, we are all apart on this special day. Yet even now, there are portions of the country testing the limits of that codependency and the virus itself. Our appetite for sacrifice and selflessness is part of the story you will write. And by then, you will tell us the sum of that equation: life, freedom. Which is greater than? Which is lesser than? Our tools of journalism have changed or been readapted during these times. We trade satellite links for Zoom and travel for the virtual travel afforded by Skype and FaceTime. We have you, by the way, as role models on that front. As reporters, we can't talk to people face to face in the ways we are used to, but we are still connecting, as are you. I suspect in ways that we can only imagine today, but ways in which many of you will eventually lead. And as journalists, we do our jobs leaning into the facts, not fear. Knowledge is the key to how all of us will confront and conquer the obstacles before us and rise above and learn from this moment of despair and disappointment. So where does this all leave you? Well, you can be defined by the times, or you can be defined by how you lived the times. It sounds a bit trite, doesn't it? But those are your choices. I think it's fair to say that years from now, folks will be hard-pressed to top the stories you will share with your kids and grandkids about the great pandemic of 2020. Let's just say the whole "I walked 12 miles a day in the snow to go to school" story will finally be retired. I grew up in an America torn apart by war abroad, riots and racial strife at home, the assassinations of President Kennedy, Bobby Kennedy, and Martin Luther King Jr., the Vietnam War, in which my father served and that claimed nearly 60,000 Americans. I know, fewer than COVID-19. It was a time punctuated by political scandal, an era of perpetual unrest that robbed the country of much of its innocence, or maybe its naivete. But like now, moments in which a generation defined itself. I was more or less on the tail end of that generation, but the period imbued us with a wariness towards authority, a desire to speak truth to power. From the Watergate scandal that toppled the Nixon presidency was born a renewed embrace of investigative journalism that inspired young people such as myself. A young generation disillusioned by what it saw around it taught the country how to ask its leaders why. I know Vietnam, Watergate, the assassinations, those were all the work of men, not nature, right? And much of that change certainly generated its own turbulence at the time. What you are living now is different. But think of the ways you can make your mark. Listen, people will go back to work. You will be part of a grand shift in how we work, how we interact. Many of you will play roles in how we physically remap and reimagine the places we do business. There will be no time to mourn the way it used to be. Your focus will be far outside the box as you establish the new order of commerce and entertainment and consumer dealings. Others of you on tracks for medicine, healthcare, and public policy will similarly bring a fresh and forward-looking perspective on how we live, what we need, and what we may need. You will peer around corners to see tomorrow's potential calamities, wherever they may come from, because you are equipped with the clear-eyed lenses this pandemic has provided us, and you will stand prepared to confront those oncoming threats. But to get there, the generation you represent will need to break the flawed molds of the past and present that continually impede our ability to collaborate for good or even against common threats like coronavirus. How long did "we're all in this together" last before the same old grievances of culture and privilege and perceived motive surfaced? The purity tests of patriotism, the disdain for science, the allegations of political opportunism, all while we faced an incoming bullet that wasn't red, it wasn't blue, or even aligned with an ideology of its own. And please don't waste time trying to figure out who I'm referring to or try to analyze my political leanings. As journalists, our job has always been to hold those in power accountable. At the very core of their responsibility as leaders is the requirement to protect us and our ways of life. My family, your family, we must demand they advocate for us in all things, that they get it right. We push for answers and the truth because it's our calling and our responsibility. But more than ever, it is also all of our callings. We must be willing to arm ourselves with facts and reasonableness, the foundations to see the world as it is, not how we may want it to be. But that's the immediate challenge of today, stopping the spread of this virus. Your challenge, class of 2020, is to help bring us back. Even as you rush into the headwinds of a damaged economy, you will inherit the challenge of restoring the vitality that has long defined our economy and making it work in a world where we no longer live with blinders on. We've now seen it. You've seen it. The worst can happen, even to us. Let that fact alone guide you and strengthen your character. Use your gifts and lessons of analysis that you've developed these last 4 years to face adversity and threats head on. Be critical thinkers. Don't be waylaid by red herrings and veiled agendas, nor be cowed by them. Big challenges will come, maybe bigger than this one, maybe in your lifetimes. You can approach them guided by the same self-defeating traps that have tripped us up all this far, or as a generation uniquely forged by this global catastrophe, you can rise above and commit to do better. I want you to know it pains us, me, your families, your Rutgers faculty and administrators, that we are not able to celebrate your graduation in the way we had hoped. This is not what any of us imagined for you. Stepping out into the world as it is now is not going to be easy. But know that you, built on the love of your families and the foundation of excellence that Rutgers has afforded you, can be a pillar upon which this country will recover, and it will. You don't have to be defined as a generation of coronavirus. Instead, be defined as the generation that helped remold the misshaped clay of this disaster into a better America. Let this moment confer your generation immunity from crippling fear, and know the mantra can still stand for something. We are in this together. Thank you, and Godspeed, class of 2020.
Thank you, Mr. Holt, for those words of wisdom for our graduates. And now, introducing Christopher J. Malloy, Chancellor of Rutgers, New Brunswick, for the presentation of degree candidates and their deans.
Thank you, President Barchi. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. Congratulations to the class of 2020. Candidates for advanced and baccalaureate degrees from our campuses will now be presented. I am pleased to introduce Dr. Brian L. Strom, Chancellor, Rutgers Biomedical and Health Sciences, and Executive Vice President for Health Affairs.
Thank you, Chancellor Malloy. I present the deans, their academic units, and the degree and certificate candidates for the schools of Rutgers Biomedical and Health Sciences. Dean Joseph A. Barone, Ernest Mario School of Pharmacy and candidates. Dean Robert L. Johnson, New Jersey Medical School, and Robert Wood Johnson Medical School and candidates. Dean Cecile A. Feldman, Rutgers School of Dental Medicine and candidates. Interim Dean Linda Flynn, School of Nursing and candidates. Dean Gwendolyn M. Mahan, School of Health Professions and candidates. Dean Perry N. Halkitis, School of Public Health and candidates. President Barchi, upon the recommendation of the appropriate faculties, it is my honor to present these 2,137 candidates for the certificate and degree programs offered at Rutgers Biomedical and Health Sciences.
Candidates for advanced and baccalaureate degrees from the academic units at Rutgers University, New Brunswick will now be presented. Dean Jerome J. Kukor, School of Graduate Studies and Candidates. Dean Thomas N. Farris, School of Engineering and Candidates. Dean Robert M. Goodman, Executive Dean of the School of Environmental and Biological Sciences and Candidates. Dean Wanda J. Blanchett, Graduate School of Education and Candidates. Dean Lei Lei, Rutgers Business School, Newark and New Brunswick and Candidates. Dean Catherine C. Potter, School of Social Work and Candidates. Dean Francine Conway, Graduate School of Applied and Professional Psychology and Candidates. Interim Dean Gerald Began, Mason Gross School of the Arts and Candidates. Dean Jonathan Potter, School of Communication and Information and Candidates. Dean Vanu Thakuria, Edward J. Blaustein School of Planning and Public Policy and Candidates. Dean Adrian E. Eaton, School of Management and Labor Relations and Candidates. Executive Dean Peter March, School of Arts and Sciences and Candidates. President Barchi, upon the recommendation of the appropriate faculties, it is my honor to present these members of the Rutgers University New Brunswick graduate and undergraduate class of 2020, who represent the 10,920 candidates for their degrees for a total of 13,057 graduates.
Upon recommendation of the faculties of the named schools for the aforementioned degrees, and by virtue of the authority vested in me by the boards of governors and trustees of Rutgers, the State University of New Jersey, I confer upon each of you and the candidates you represent the degrees indicated, with all the rights, responsibilities, privileges, and immunities appertaining thereunto here and elsewhere. Undergraduates, it's time to move your tassels. Congratulations, you have all graduated and are now officially Rutgers alumni.
First generation Rutgers siblings, second generation Rutgers siblings.
I'm officially a graduate of Rutgers University! Woo! We did it! I did it! Rutgers!
Congratulations, class of 2020.
Where is everybody?